Shalom. What is like School of Universal Practical Knowledge, Command 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command Junior Hanna. Since 1969, we've been teaching blacks, Hispanics, Indians our true identity according to the Bible. You understand? Chosen people, the only people that the Bible was meant for. You understand? The only people that the God of this book gives a damn about. And of course, the same man that has been oppressing us for over 400 years is nothing more than the devil that the Bible speaks of. Slacky. Saying we're going to go ahead and start in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Saying we're going to be going over how important it is to, keep the Lord's commandments, especially in the land of America, where you are taught to do nothing more than, wickedness in the eyes of the Lord. You're taught to do nothing more than, which is why it's so important, for real Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian leaders to rise up in our communities. I'm saying which the only leaders that are fit to guide, I'm saying the nation of Israel is the priests and prophets in ISUPK. You understand? We're the only ones that have been ordained by the Most High God to lead our people out of the captivity that we are in. You understand? Inside of the land of America. So I'll give you a second to get to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. So go ahead and tag every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian that you know of. Understand, in the state of New Mexico, from the city of Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and any other city in that state, in order for our people to get this truth right here. Saying because a lot of our people, we don't realize, that we got to fear the Lord instead of fearing, this virus that he's plagued the earth with. Saying we got to fear the Lord rather than fearing our oppressor, rather than fearing what it is that America can do to us. Understand, the power that is, sending these judgments upon us as a nation. One second. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Slocky. Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God. Slocky. I'm going to read that from the top. 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Slocky. You know, saying one thing our people have to realize is we got to hear the whole outcome of where it is this virus actually came from. Is things a lot of us, we sit there, we believe in conspiracy theories. This government has released this virus onto America to finally bring it down after all this debt we've accumulated under them. And we believe every single outlandish idea that anyone can just come up with, as long as it satisfies whatever answer it is that we're looking for. You understand? We got to sit there and think that it was another country that came up with this plague that has brought the whole world to its knees. That's brought America to its knees. When in reality, it was the Lord that unleashed this plague upon the earth. And it was the Lord that sent the coronavirus to China and then caused it to spread throughout the rest of the earth. You understand? It's no conspiracy behind it. It's simply the Lord. It's that the Lord has the power to do all things that involves sending plagues. You understand? Sending death, sending destruction and suffering and all these other things upon the face of this earth. And so the Lord has a hand to play in all of it. And so the God of this Bible right here, he ain't no sissified white man like the Christian church likes to make it seem to be. You understand? So I'm gonna read that from the top one more time. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. And so just like earlier this week, Trump brought out that they know the enemy and it's an invisible enemy. You understand? He was talking about the Lord. You understand? The Lord is this power that the United States cannot see and that they can't even fathom, which is why Trump has said multiple times about people are dying that have never died before. And he was talking about so-called Americans. You understand? So-called white people are oppressor. That's who he was talking about. So he ain't talking about the few blacks, Hispanics, and natives that are dying from it. Saying because we've always died from plagues. You understand? We've always died at the hands of our enemies and all these other nations. Fear God and keep his commandments. So the scripture is telling us it's not saying to sit there and think that he's some type of plaything and is just gonna forgive you for all of your sins and every little thing that you do that is against the Lord. It's not saying that he's completely all loving and to give him all your love and all this other nonsense like the Christian church. So the Christian church teaches that you're just simply supposed to love God without us knowing how it is that we're properly supposed to love the Most High God. But the scripture says to fear God and to keep his commandments. And so just like so many of us are out here fearing this coronavirus that has absolutely shook America, and saying that has shook Europe and Africa and Asia, Middle East. Instead of us fearing what it was that the Lord sent upon the face of this earth, we should be fearing him. And saying he created the damn thing, so why would we not fear him? And saying he can cause all things to happen upon the face of this earth. All the terrible things, all the things that make you wet your goddamn pants. So why would we not fear him? It's lucky. and keep his commandments. And so we're supposed to be keeping the commandments of the Most High God. You're saying all the different things in this book that the Lord told us to do. I'm saying keeping the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. And that is what we're supposed to be doing as a nation. We aren't supposed to just be sitting there, going out and getting high and then just straight up begging for forgiveness. I'm saying we aren't supposed to go out and sleep with whores and make whores out of our women and then beg for forgiveness. We aren't supposed to go out and commit a murder or sell drugs or, lie or steal and then beg for forgiveness. Instead, we're supposed to be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Instead, the Lord gave us straight up, saying without any type of hesitation. But instead, because the Christian church, saying the philosophy of our slave master, saying our oppressor, has taught us otherwise. We don't do these things. But instead, we're taught to fear, our oppressor. And we're taught to give all of our love to him and to view him as someone that is really greater than the Most High. When what the Most High is doing in the face of this earth, we should understand that our oppressor is nothing to the Lord. His power cannot match the Lord. No matter how many of them die from this virus, whether they are young or old, especially the old, that means nothing to the Most High God, the God of this Bible right here. But what the Lord does care about is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Those of us that suffer from this virus, that die from it, the Lord does feel something when that happens. So instead of us sitting there and coming against, our power, our God, the God of this Bible, coming against him and following the ways of our oppressor, we should simply be doing as we're told to do in the beginning, which is to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. We should be doing what the ISUPK has been telling the ghettos and the reservations and the barrios since 1969, which is to come back to your culture, your customs, your heritage, which is in this book right here, which is only found in the ISUPK. No other place teaches the truth about the Bible. And it certainly is not the Christian church. For this is the whole duty of man. So the whole duty of, every single Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man, woman, and child is to keep the commandments that the Lord gave to us, is to fear him. But instead, due to us being raised in America, we're trying to do, every other thing that's going to fulfill and satisfy our own lustful desires. We're trying to find all these different things to satisfy what it is America said that we should hold dear, whether it's accumulating money, whether it's getting high, sleeping with whores, women, being whores or stealing, all these different things that America promotes amongst our communities. That's what we hold dear. That's what we view as being, our duty as a people. When in reality, we should look at what America does, and we should realize that what they do completely and utterly goes against the Lord. What they do goes against this Bible right here. But because we've been brainwashed for so long, for 400 years, when we were slaves, and through, the Jim Crow era, and segregation, and, all these different things that have been happening to our people. We hold the, morality of America at a higher standard than the God of this Bible right here, which is why so many of us don't follow it. Why so many of us do what, pastors tell us to do, or believe that whatever in here is nonsense, even though what is in this book can heal the nation of Israel. And saying it can bring us up out of these ghettos. It can get us off drugs. It can stop abortions in our communities. And it can stop the murders. It can stop, the women being whores, and men being homosexuals, and women being lesbians, and all of the above. And everything that plagues, our ghettos, this book right here can help it. And saying it can stop these things from happening. We just got to simply come back to, what it was that the Lord told us to do as a nation. So we're going to go to Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 21. Give you a second to get there. Book of Proverbs in verse 21. He that followeth after righteousness. So like, so he that followeth after righteousness. Saying, what is righteousness? I'm saying righteousness is, to essentially have a strong moral code, saying to be morally upright, which is what this book right here teaches. Our communities, teaches our nation, because the only way you can have any type of righteousness about you in the land of America and anywhere that you go throughout the face of this earth, you've got to learn it from this book right here. You've got to get in the ISUPK under Commander John Yohana, and we'll teach you how it is that you can be a righteous man or woman of the Lord. Because you are not going to learn it in the land of America. You're saying here in America, you're going to be, taught that it's okay to be a homosexual. You're saying just like they're doing in schools right now, and forcing with all these parades and just like story times with transgenders. You understand? That's what America is going to teach you. That it's okay that if you cut off your rod, and take all these pills and get all these surgeries to try to be a woman. For a woman, it's okay for you to, do the same, just flip your box inside out and to lay with the same sex, or just all this nonsense that, if you truly think about, you should view this as as insanity, to just to put it blatantly. Saying all this nonsense that America teaches about homosexuality, about uh, being transgender, and being on a damn what the hell's that called? Uh, damn. Oh, being on a spectrum. You understand? All that they teach, that is literal insanity. And when you go and you look at the homosexual community, I'm saying, or LGBTQ community, you understand, and you see how they conduct themselves as really a whole, you'll see that they are literally insane. You're saying not only are they insane, but they are aggressive as a people, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. You're saying, which is, I'm saying, part of what America is. I'm saying, it's Sodom and Gomorrah, just in modern times. So I'll read that from the top. He that falleth after righteousness and mercy. Oh, Slakia. He that falleth after righteousness. So America will teach you it's okay to be a homosexual. That it's okay to be a transgender. Knowing damn well that, amongst their communities, it's, there's always a peak in, rapes and abuse. Because they don't have the right, mindset or moral fortitude in order to know right from wrong, because they're constantly doing these disgusting acts as if it's a natural way of life, as if it's something that is normal to do amongst any nation of people. And not only does America teach you that it's okay to be homosexual, but it teaches you that it's okay to be a drug addict. I'm saying, to commit abortions. It's lucky. It's in America legally grows, a poppy and marijuana and sells it for billions of dollars. You understand? They even have their militaries over across seas in the Middle East protecting opioid fields. You understand? And they got their legal system over here protecting, marijuana farms and dispensaries and making just tons upon tons of money off of it. And then naturally, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians are going to try to follow suit. And then you already got reservations, growing marijuana, legally, also they can make a profit in the land of America. You see, and it's hard telling how many, Black men have been imprisoned because they were sitting there and selling marijuana, because they were trying to, grow their own so they can make the best profits that they can. See, and we wonder why it is that so many of us are, wrapped up in the drug game. You're saying wrapped up in getting high, especially in the reservations. You're saying you can't turn a corner without coming across a native that loves to get high. You're saying that needs that bud. Which shoot, really, I'm saying, it's the same thing really in the ghettos and the barrios. You're saying Blacks and Hispanics just as much as the natives. Instead, America does not teach, our people how to be moral. And there's a difference between our morality and, the morality of our oppressor, the morality of an African, an Asian, an Arab, an East Indian. You understand? East Indian finds it okay if it's, bathing in shit. You know what I'm saying? Asian finds it okay to eat bats and all types of abominable sea creatures. Africans find it okay to eat people and to be, number one contenders for the biggest homosexuals out there. And we already know our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? What they teach is completely different from what it is that our nation is supposed to be learning. What it is we're supposed to be practicing. Saying we're supposed to be practicing righteousness, which is something that these other nations are not capable of. After righteousness and mercy, it's lucky. I'm saying mercy. Mercy is, like showing forgiveness or compassion to somebody, so which is most definitely something that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are lacking in our communities. So I couldn't tell you how many times I've heard of, a Black man or woman that was murdered all over, something that is completely and utterly petty, such as, for instance, I'm saying if somebody owes you money, for most of us in the Black community, I'm saying we will either not, associate ourselves with that person anymore at all, or shoot, we might even go out and try to take, I guess you say vengeance into our own hands. I'm saying take action. It's lucky. And mercy findeth life. Saying so it's lucky. If you sit there and you learn to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, you understand, and you learn that you're supposed to have mercy towards your brother and your sister, not just sit there and beef something that is completely and utterly petty. Learn that we're supposed to be a nation that is above and beyond what these other nations could ever dream of being. I'm saying then you will find life. I'm saying in the eyes of the Lord. I'm saying so when you develop a moral code, I'm saying so you aren't out there getting high. So you aren't out there eating, catfish or pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. You're out there, sleeping with whores, being a murderer, so on and so forth. And the Lord's not going to send this virus to cause you a slow and painful death. But instead, he's going to make it to where you don't have to worry about, none of this. You don't got to worry about the coronavirus coming to you or your family. Which why so many of us in the ICBK, we are not, scathed by this virus that has brought America down. We aren't worrying about the curfew. We aren't worrying about the stores running out of food. It's like you out of water. Toilet paper. All this. We're not worried about it. Because we know that if we keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, that we are going to be protected by him, which is something that a whole lot of Christians cannot say. Find it life, righteousness, and honor. So you find it life, so you find that moral code, that it is that, I shouldn't say any nation, but any Israelite needs, especially in the land of America, especially when things start to get tough in these lands and you are forced to make the hardest of decisions. Saying you're going to need that code to guide you through what is to come. Because if not, I'm saying, you're going to end up selling, I'm saying, any and everything that you can. I'm saying you're going to sell your body. Saying you're going to sell the body of your wife, your daughter, your sister, your mother. You understand? You're going to do all types of drugs. You're going to go out and commit all types of murders and just partake in all these different disgusting acts, all because you weren't taught how to sit there and choose, honor over whatever, lustful desires it is that you're seeking. So lucky. We're going to go to James chapter 1 and verse 22. Give you one more second to get there. All right, book of James. It's like chapter 1 and verse 22. But be ye doers of the word. So like, you're saying being a doer of the word is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave to us. You understand? Which is what the ISUPK has been doing since 1969. Since 69, we've been keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. We've been teaching other Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians in our communities and throughout the whole earth to keep what it is that the Lord gave to us. And we do it so much so that we would much rather die before we sit there and break what it was that the Lord gave to us as a people. You understand? To abandon this, precious thing that the Lord chose to bestow upon us as a nation. You know what I'm saying? And we've had plenty of brothers in this truth, Slovakia, you know what I'm saying, die because they would, obviously much rather face death than to be a goddamn coward. You know, that is something that a lot of Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians need to learn, is that you should much rather die before you break any one of these laws in this book right here. And you should much rather suffer, unimaginable fate before you decide to come against the Lord. Which that's not something that is, obviously taught among our communities. You know what I'm saying? It's not taught in the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? You're not taught to be a doer, Slovakia. I'm saying a doer of the word. And not hearers only. And not hearers only. So which is exactly like the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? The Christian church is, strictly only hearers of, what they say is in this book right here. You know what I'm saying? They might bring out 2 or 3 scriptures max and claim that they keep, what is in this book right here. Claim that, I know Christ, I know God, this, that, and the third. But meanwhile, you got all these Christian churches that have closed down all across America. And they have locked up their doors and denied their congregations any type of, solace in hearing whatever it is their preacher's word is. But instead, you get all these men and women going to, teach online. You're saying, telling you to send in your donations online and trying to banish demons on people and banish the coronavirus, online. Just all this nonsense. And these people are not doers of the word. It's like, I'm saying, they are simply hearers. And truly, half of these so-called, Christian leaders, they can't even hear the word because this book was not meant for them. And this book was meant for strictly, and I mean strictly, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It was not meant for our oppressor in any type of way. And so anytime you see one of our oppressors out here preaching and trying to speak out of this book right here, just assume that it is nonsense. And if it's anyone other than the ISUPK, anyone, that is outside of this truth right here, assume that they speak nothing but nonsense because they don't do what it is that the Lord told them to do. Well, what they do is what we're about to read right here. And not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. And so all these different groups out here that claim to be in the truth, that claim to have the truth, claim to keep the law, statutes, commandments, to teach to keep them, and everything that it is that our nation is supposed to be doing, they simply deceive themselves because they don't do what it is that the Lord commanded them to do. And that's why there is only one home of the truth, which is where all these different, fake Israelite groups branched off from. It's like it broke off from. Saying, which is why you got all these different Christian pastors trying to flock to the ISUBK and ask us to teach them what it is that we know about the Bible. You're saying, because these people, they deceive themselves when they put on this persona of being, somebody that is righteous. This persona of someone that is, doing the will of the Lord. When in reality, they're fulfilling their own lustful desires, their own needs, doing what it is that makes them happy as an individual. I'm saying that's what they are doing. And no matter how it is that you approach it, understand the ISUBK has never been defeated in these scriptures, and we never will be. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 6 and 24. Give you a second to get there. But that's definitely one thing that we have to realize as a nation, is that the Christian church is not here to help us as a people. If that's the case, we would not have ghettos all across America. They would not have shut their doors on us when we needed them truly the most. Because this is when people needed, the churches the most, is in times of hardship. But yeah, every single one of them, no matter who it is that they all closed their doors. And they rejected us when it was that we, started to seek refuge from them. Started to seek their healing powers and blessings. I'm saying these so-called leaders do not have the truth, and they never will. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 24. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes. And the Lord gave the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, a order to do all the statutes that he gave our nation. He didn't make it something that was, optional for us to do. He didn't make it so that we could just, say, oh, I don't want to do that. I'll do this though. I won't do that. I will do that, this, that, and the third. We don't have a choice in whether or not it is that we do as the Lord commanded for us to do. We don't have a choice in such a matter. You can sit there and you can go against the Lord if you want to and face his judgment, his wrath. But if you were smart, if you had any type of intelligence, then you would, wholeheartedly, without question, do what it is that was, commanded of us as a nation. To fear the Lord our God. It's like, so there again, it's saying to fear the Lord. It's not saying to, believe the, as much as we sit there and pray out of fear for this coronavirus, I'm saying pray that it goes away and that America, comes back from the ashes and that, all these different countries across the seas don't get affected this way and that way. And it simply says to fear the Most High God. You understand? The God of Israel. It's really as simple as that. But instead, we're fearing, what it is that he created. I'm saying fearing the coronavirus. You understand? Fearing what it is that he has done to America in such a short period of time. You understand? With the stock market, dropping thousands of points, with, the resources and goods running low in the stores. And of course, with the plague that is absolutely rocked this country, along with, Canada and countries in Europe, the Middle East, Asia, Africa. I'm saying we fear that rather than the Lord. Saying we know, it's like when I say we, I mean us and IHUPK. We know that our people fear this virus more than the Lord, because you can just look at all the, look at all the precautions that it is that our nation is taking for this coronavirus. I'm saying stocking up on all this different disinfectant and hand sanitizer and wipes and masks and gloves. Even going out and buying heavy duty masks with filters on them. You understand? Some of us buying full on hazmat suits. So we fear this virus more than we do the Most High God. Because if we feared the Lord, then we would stop doing, what it is that would cause the Lord to send this virus upon us. So especially with, when all these different, celebrities tested positive for the virus and we're self-quarantining, and all this other, nonsense and steps that it is that they took in order to prevent themselves from getting sick. You understand? It still happened. It doesn't matter how much money it is that you have. It doesn't matter how much power you have, how well liked you are. I'm saying what matters is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. What matters is fearing the Most High God. Because as you can tell from, all these celebrities posting all these videos about being tested positive and being concerned for their lives. You're saying you should learn that the Lord don't give a damn about any of that. And with us holding celebrities at such a high regard, if it mattered to the Lord, what would make you think that he'd give a damn about you if you don't have any riches, if you don't have any fame, any power? You see, that just goes to show you that the Lord don't give a damn about any of it. For our good always, that he might preserve us alive. And so it is for our good as a nation, to fear the Lord. I'm saying that he might spare our lives. I'm saying that he might not kill us with this virus. I'm saying that he might not have us gunned down in the streets. I'm saying? It is for the betterment of our nation. But instead, because we've been accustomed to growing up in the ways of America, we see you know, such things as us having to, stop, all of our sinful deeds. We see that as, something that is harming us. For instance, COVID-19, that has been proven to hit those that smoke, marijuana or bud. It's been proven to hit them harder than anybody else. I'm saying harder than those that smoke tobacco, harder than those that, however the hell you want to, put your vice in whatever form. So it's been proven to hit them harder. But instead of us sitting there and quitting and preserving our lungs and ensuring that we have a long-lasting life, we sit there and we view that as something that is just so, it isn't even fathomable. It's like fathomable of us doing is to stop getting high. And most of us sit there and say, as we're hitting that blunt, I'm gonna get high forever. So I'm gonna be 60 getting high. Understand? My kids are gonna be getting high with me. Hopefully my grandkids will be getting high with me. I'm saying that just goes to show you just how destroyed we are as a people, that we view something as, disgusting as that is, as a way of life that should be passed down from generation to generation. And so much so that we sit there and claim that, oh, well, if everybody just got high, smoked a little bit of weed, then the world would be a better place. We'd all come together and there'd be no war, no violence, no famines, no diseases. For some odd reason, apparently it boosts your sense of morality, when that's simply not the case. Put it, sitting there getting high or just smoking in general, it's not going to better our nation. It's not going to ensure that the Lord does not kill us, does not send that death angel your way. As it is at this day. In verse 12. Give you a second to get there. It's lucky. Deuteronomy. And now Israel. And you notice how they didn't say no other nation. I'm saying they didn't say, the nation of our oppressor, no matter what it is he wants to call himself. It doesn't say, the Africans, the Asians, Arabs, East Indians. It doesn't say these other nations. It says strictly Israel, the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways. And so it's asking, what is it the Lord requires of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, of the nation of Israel? And it simply says to fear the Most High God. You're saying when it says to walk in all his ways, it means to keep the law, statutes, and commandments that was given to us as a nation. And that is what is required of us as a people. I'm saying the Lord was calling out to us, and us specifically, because we are the main ones that want to sit there and come against the Lord. You say no matter what it is that is promoted in our communities, you're saying all these things that come against the Most High God, we always want to partake in such things. So, the LGBTQ community is promoted. We want to go out and, be homosexual, be a lesbian, be transgender. You understand? We want to go out and we want to, get into the bud game, get into being high. You understand? Abortion billboards are put up in the ghettos. I'm saying our women see them, and she just has such hatred for the man that she lays with that she goes out and she kills that baby. Salakia, she murders that baby. You understand? America promotes that we hate our own, that we kill our own, we lie to and steal from them, all while loving our oppressor in all of his ways. You understand? The Lord is against that. That is not following in the ways of the Most High God. That is simply following in the ways of our oppressor. See, and you got to understand that we were taught all of these things in slavery. And we were taught to hate our brothers, our sisters. And we were taught to, sit there and make interracial relationships. We were sit there and it's like we sat there and we were taught to, be homosexuals with the buck breaking or to be lesbians in our master's bathhouses. I'm saying we were taught to sit there and abort and to kill our babies out of, believing that it's saving them from, something more. When that is not what the Lord intended for us as a people. I'm saying that is not the way that the Lord wanted us to follow. And if we follow in all of these different ways that America teaches us and promotes to us, then we do not fear the Lord. It's really, it's such a simple concept that truly it's something hard for our people to even fathom. You understand? Because of the lies that we've been taught about this book right here, and because of the love that we've been taught to have for our oppressor. And to love him. See, it says to love the Lord and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. See, so we're supposed to be serving the Most High God above all. I'm saying, but above our own, desires, above the desires of our oppressor, above what it is that America says is right and what they say is wrong. Yes, then we're supposed to be serving the Lord with that, our oppressor, what I'm saying, they won't even be able to recognize us as a people. I'm saying that same vigor that we serve America with, we're supposed to be giving that to the Lord instead. I'm saying all these different ideals and philosophies that we sit there and believe in and promote. inside land of America, then we're supposed to be believing in this one philosophy. It's in this one idea. This is the only thing we're supposed to be believing in as a nation. No matter which way you look at it, no matter which way you cut it, this is, our culture. I'm saying our customs, our history, our laws. You understand? Our way of thinking, our way of life. That is what is in the Holy Bible. You understand? It's not a white man's book. It's not something made up to control the masses. You understand? It's not something that contradicts itself. There's no lies in it. You just gotta learn how to understand and comprehend what's in these scriptures right here. And the only way to do that is to come into the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander Juliana. Otherwise, shoot, I'm saying, you're doomed to be lost. I'm saying doomed to be confounded. So we're going to go to Psalms 111 and verse 10. I'll give you a second to get there. All right, we're going to get into it. Psalms 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord, wisdom. And so, some obviously a lot of our people are not doing in the land of America while this plague has brought this country to its knees. is one, fearing the Lord. I'm saying there's one thing we're not doing. And by not doing so, then obviously our people have no, wisdom about them. For instance, it is not only, our oppressor that is out here buying all this toilet paper. You understand? They ain't the ones raiding the stores and taking all the, necessities it is that they can. And not even, necessities. You know what I'm saying? We're just gobbling any and everything up that we can because the next person is not going to be getting it, knowing damn well that could benefit our brother. You understand? Our sister. And by doing so, we give into the panic that it is that our oppressor has, induced in the land of America. You understand? There's a reason that they fear for their lives. There's a reason, that they have to sit there and stock up on all these different resources and only care about themselves. But two, this plague was meant for our oppressor. This plague was meant for America. It was meant for all these different nations that have sat there and afflicted the nation of Israel. You understand? That's what this plague is meant for. But because we were not taught to keep the Lord's laws, his statutes, and his commandments, and to ultimately fear him, you're saying we've got no wisdom about us. You're saying you can go and you can look at videos every day about a new incident happens of someone just doing, just something that is not, fathomable. I'm saying it's just something that you would not think of doing in your right state of mind. Whether it's someone that, for instance, with all these people wearing, all these gloves and all these masks, having hand sanitizer with them and disinfectant wipes, taking every single precaution that is possible in order to prevent themselves from getting sick. I'm saying, but then they sit there and they, eat with the said gloves on. I'm saying everything that they were sitting there and touching, with these gloves, they would go out and they would pick up their food and they would eat with the same gloves. You know what I'm saying? You have got to be, slow in the goddamn head to think slack you. You know what I'm saying? Really, you're not even thinking at that point. You know what I'm saying? You're letting your fear consume you so much that you can't even acknowledge that you are, ultimately, putting yourself at risk. You understand? Which I know, for instance, 3 videos at least that I've personally seen of people doing, such things. And not only is it, videos and going out and eating, but it's also, let's say you go to the store, you do all your shopping, and then the same people that are taking these precautions with these gloves and whatnot, and these masks and hand sanitizer and wipes and aerosol sprays and any and every other thing that you could imagine, after they get done with their daily routines, they, continue to walk into their, houses and get into their vehicles with said gloves on and spreading the disease and touching their faces and basically rendering your your precautions that you took, you know what I'm saying, rendering them useless. You see, that's what our people are doing because they've let their fear consume them. So, because they're so worried about sitting there and getting this respiratory disease, when in reality, if they would have just feared the Lord this whole time, they wouldn't have to worry about any of that. You see, they wouldn't have to worry about, dying a slow and painful death in the hospital or in your bed while your family watches you. So they wouldn't have to worry about any of that. But because they were never taught to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, our people, we don't know any better. And that's just how we know the Christian church has failed us as a nation. Saying it has failed us as a people, because if the Christian church really taught the truth of this Bible right here, shoot, we would have been out of captivity a very long time ago. I'm saying we would not have been suffering at the hands of our oppressor for so long. We would not be out here indulging in all these different, acts that it is that America promotes. It wouldn't be happening amongst our people. And amongst the nation of Israel. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. And so those of us in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, is then we have a good, us as a nation. So we have a good understanding of what it means to fear the Most High God. Which simply, if you don't do so, then the Lord is going to bring swift death to you, and possibly all that you love. So much is where so many of us go wrong in the land of America. And so many of us, we don't even, chalk this up as, something of the Lord. And with the same people that enslaved and brainwashed and conquered us as a nation. And we believe that the Lord will never do such a thing to America. So it's where you got all these, different Christian pastors, pastors that, were sitting there and praying as one for the end of this coronavirus over Trump and praying that, America bounces back and you got all of us as individuals out here praying that, America does not fall. His praise endureth forever. It's lucky. We're going to skip to Psalms 119 and verse 96. Give you a hot second to get there. Psalms 119, 96. I have seen an end of all perfection, but thy commandment is exceeding broad. And so, I'm saying, our people, we view America as, being something that is just absolutely, perfect. Something that is, just so, let's say, unfuckwittable that it can't be rivaled by anything. You understand? Even though, we've been oppressed in these lands for so long, even till this day, that at the hands of these other heathens, we hold America to just this high standard, all because, they let us indulge in our own selfish desires. You know what I'm saying? Let us indulge in what it is that we lust after as, a people. So a lot of us view America as being perfect, all because it allows interracial relationships. So we'll even go as far as to point out that if we were in another, part of the world, then you'd be put to death, you'd be decapitated, and all this, other repercussions for your actions. So, but what we don't understand is that, our oppressor inside the land of America, he knows that if he allows for us to sit there and mix with his women, and allow for our women to lay with his men, that is going to bring our nation down further and further, and allow for them to, keep that, that stronghold, I'm saying, that strong grip upon us as a people. I'm saying, there's a reason our oppressor does everything, and it's not out of, him feeling sorry for us. He doesn't do it out of the kindness of his heart. He doesn't do it, to make bonds between us as a people, or, to build relations. He does it because he knows that by doing so, by having the men of his nation sit there and make babies with and defile our women, that he can, ultimately, infiltrate, our communities. I'm saying, and do what it is that he can to misguide our people, and which has happened numerous of times. I know a certain sister that got with multiple so-called, black men, but at the end of the day, their fathers were white men, and the sister didn't find it out until after, they've been together for months, not knowing that she was just, perpetuating that cycle of, really causing confusion and bringing our nation down. I'm saying, and it goes, beyond words to explain how much it is that the men of our nation love, I'm saying, the women of our oppressor. I'm saying, so many of us love to sit there and lay with them and make babies with them, even when they are the worst. Even when they are the worst of their people. But that's one of the many things that just makes us view America as being perfect, is them allowing for us to sit there and mingle one with another after, so long of being separate. So we just having this abundance of drugs and whores, in the land of America. I'm saying that helps us view this country as being perfect. I'm saying, like I said, we simply view it as such because it allows for us to indulge in our own lustful desires. So like, but the commandment is exceeding broad. And so all this perfection that we view in the land of America, I'm saying, with the interracial relationships, with the getting high and being whores, sexuals, this, that, and the third, all these things that we view as being perfect that will ultimately come to an end, I'm saying, at the hands of the Lord. I'm saying the scripture says that the commandments, I'm saying, are essentially, something that can never be brought down. Saying it's something that is never going to fail, and it's always going to ensure, that our people view it as, something greater than they viewed America. Because eventually, all these things that we view as being so great in America, as being perfect, eventually America is going to fall. America is going to crumble along with the disgusting people in it. You understand? And the only thing that's going to be left is the righteous, of the nation of Israel. We're going to Matthew 5 and 6. Give you a second to get here. It'll be our last scripture. All right, we're going to get into it. Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 6. Are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. See, the only ones that hunger and thirst, I'm saying, for that moral, code that is, I'm saying, for that moral code that only this Bible can teach. So, Lakia, saying the only ones doing so are the priests and the prophets in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Command John Yohana. It's in the Christian pastors are not out here, wanting the knowledge that's in this book right here. I'm saying those in the Nation of Islam are not wanting the knowledge in this book. Those in spirituality, chematology, and whatever the nonsense there is out there, they're not looking for a sense of morality that this book teaches right here. I'm saying they're all looking to fulfill their own selfish desires, which is why they've chosen the paths that it is that they have. And which is why, so many Christian pastors have chosen their paths, which is why so many of these different leaders have chosen, to follow the ways that they do. Is because if you cling to the ways of America, you're saying you learn as it is that they teach. You are taught to want to fulfill your own desires rather than wanting the knowledge in this book, which is why so many out there sit there and try to say this book is nonsense. I'm saying it's just one big lie. You saying because in order for you to sit there and accept this book right here, in order for you to acknowledge that it's got nothing but pure truth in it, then that would be you accepting that you are simply not following it because you've got your own let's say agenda, I'm saying, that you're looking to fulfill. You got your own desires that you want to sit there and indulge in and all this other wickedness. So you'd rather do that than sit there and follow in the ways of the Lord. Follow what it is that the Lord told us to do. So lucky. So we're going to go ahead and get into the closing announcements. Slovakia. ISUPK security announcements. With ISUPK, start off 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. It means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest Fund. It's a free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory. It's whatsoever amount you would like. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or a war scarf. With that said, Imajim, which means a stand. Well, Pani Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to start out with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanagu. Shabashamayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Balakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazayika, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawo, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawathanawa, Kasalakanawa, Kabawathayanawa, Walaa, Dabayayanawa, Vanasayawan, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Wa'alam, Wataparwath, Nawalamyam, Amon. The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Amen. The prayer for the Hakak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, Babakashah, Nathanahu, Hakak, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Kal Makalah, will call Matawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, Bahakim, Hakak, Arakawath, Hatama, Lagarshan, by Hashem Yahushai, the water Aman. The prayers for the power, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please the power to heal all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. The prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew, Barak atah Yahweh, wa Yahushai, wa Miyaka'alu, wa Lahayim, Matazabiyah, Alawapyam, Halawapyam, Hazaranyam, Hakwatazayanyam, Hakayayayam, Walaquathim, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, the water Aman. Pray for the blessings in the English. Bless and Michael and the angels, commanding General Yohana, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai. Thank you. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai. Listen to us now, right now. To the evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the heathen, and shake loose the pockets of the rich of Israel, that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, and death to the Edomites, and the nations, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek's synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, posse comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airways, the cable access channels, the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift death to all the heathen. Stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the terrorists. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and destroy. Cause the terrorists to come against America and destroy them in their strongholds. Let America shake at the hands of the terrorists. The Yahushai, Mike saucers, and kill all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known, cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushai, thank you. Always, so be it. We're going to go ahead and give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatham. Yezmatah. To the sisters. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim Barak. Yahweh Shamar Al Tan Ba Hashem